Now, this opinion poll is worth having a look at here because it shows that a very significant number of people had faith in the federal government response, and even higher numbers were there when it came to the different state responses. If we can whack that up on the screen, guys, because I want to read here, which is, I think it is, I don't want to put my glasses on. So, OK, we're going to do it there. 85% for the federal government, 99% for the West Australian government, 92% for Queensland, 81% in New South Wales, 78% in Victoria. Jim, I had to squint. I don't know if you did, but tell me, what does that tell you at the end of the year about, faith in government and the ups and downs of that?
Well, I think it tells me, first up, Paul, that government has played a much greater role in our lives over the last 12 months, and this is not something that happens all that often. We can be very cynical of government until we need government. And people have seen, regardless of what anyone thinks, people have seen that they've needed governments, and those governments have protected them from something. Now, in Dan Andrews' case, it's interesting because many argue that he caused the something and then he solved the something. Mm-hmm. But I think this marks a real change for a 75-year period where our prosperity and security has been guaranteed, and now it's far less guaranteed. We are going to need effective governments going into the future much more than we've needed them in the past.
Jacinta, there is, of course, a fine line, and you saw this in the Territory, between people liking the responsibility of government and the local political leader exploiting the advantage of being in government. What do you think about these numbers?
Well, look, I think it demonstrates that, some governments and some leaders, political leaders, can get away with pulling the wool over the eyes of the terrified constituents because, there was a lot of fear involved, and there has been a lot of fear involved with the unknown of what this pandemic might bring about. And I guess I think what's deeply concerning with regard to Victoria is the way in which popularity had dropped during the height of the pandemic, and now we've seen it increase, which also demonstrates that people were very happy to, forgive the sorts of behaviours like, the pregnant woman being raided by police early in the morning for claiming that she's going to put forward a protest, and those sorts of liberties that have been threatened and are certainly still under threat in somewhere like Victoria, that now it's sort of in some ways become acceptable and almost normalised. And I think we have to make sure that we don't allow that to be forgotten, or that we don't allow that to be repeated again. But certainly the Northern Territory, I think Territorians are realising now that some of what our leader was claiming in terms of saving our lives, a lot of that was probably blown a bit out of proportion.